I'm off and in the studio. Trying to make something kind of mellow and melodic. I'm feeling a little grooviness to it right now, man. It might be something. It's less than 10 minutes, man. You know what I'm saying? This is just maxing it, cooling. I see it. I'm about to say cold oiling. What the hell? Coiling? No, cooling, man. I'm just maxing and cooling, man. Maxing and relaxing, taking it easy, bro. Ain't nothing else to do, man. Keep your nose and your hands clean and stay out people's business. That's all I try to do, man. Keep my hands clean. I don't be in no dirt. Keep my nose clean. I don't be snooping around in nobody else's business. I do the same thing. Maxing and cooling. Alright, now. Let's jump back on this thing. This is one. So we got strings. We got a synthesizer chord. We have a tambourine. And we have a kick beat. Kind of simple. It's all to the good, bro. I feel you. I might switch out the drums for something else or add another drum layer on top of this, but this is really mellow right here. I'm kind of feeling this shit. I can hear Andre 3000 on some shit like this. Ooh, some Tyler shit. I do, yeah, I can feel that. Now what do you think about if I add a bass chord to this shit? Can we find a bass that'll fit up in here? This one ain't saying that. Are you gonna play? Where does the freaking bass line come in at? Or is it that fucking low I can't hear? That shit comes in way at the end. Nah. What the fuck? Bro, that shit sound like some Sith Lord Darkseid Star Wars Darth Vader shit about to happen. Like you can see one of the Sith Lords pulling out his fucking lightsaber. I gotta save that one. I gotta use that for something. Make it See, man, that shit fine. I'm trying, bro. I'm trying. I'm liking these bass lines right here, but they don't really go with that, I don't think. GarageBand. That shit free, bro. Yo, GarageBand is a free app for the iOS systems. And you can do Logic Pro for iPad for free. And these are, I don't know why it's not loading up, but these are all the sound packs. Chromium, Fury, Alpha Waves, Backlight Bounce, Ultimate 808s. Yo, songwriter drum, yo, you get all these music packs. Oak Felder, Boys Noise, all these producers, they have their own sample mixes in here too. And it's just like, I don't know, it's a lot of shit for free. It's a lot of stuff for free. This shit is very intuitive, very easy to use. I'm just using loops right now, but you can like make beats. It has a drum machine. Man, this shit has everything for free. So you go here, all your instruments you can choose from. All drums, drum kits, bass, guitars, piano, synths, strings, electric piano, mallets, percussion, shakers, conga, tambourines, bongo, woodwinds, vocals. Just download it for free, bro. It's just a free app. Then I go to bass, and so the instrument is bass. Then you got genres. You go into genres. Bass house, chill wave, Chinese traditional, country, dubstep, electric house, electronic pop, funk, future bass, hip hop and R&B, house, jazz, orchestral, reggaeton pop. And so then you can select which kind of genre you're looking for. Normally I stay on the hip hop genres. And then if you can even go deeper and do a description. I don't really do the descriptions, but it says single, clean, acoustic, relaxed, cheerful, dry, groovy, melodic, part, ensemble, distorted, electric, intense, dark, process, rhythmic, dissonant, and feel. So then you got all these different moves to choose from. And then once you get your instrument and your genre and all that shit, and then your list pops up. Bro, and this is just what I have selected for hip hop. Now, if I unselect hip hop and just have every music choice come up, yo, the list would be way longer than this. And these are just bass. This is just the bass. And then you can heart the ones you want to come back to. I got a couple of hearts in here. And then if you want to use it, you just hold down and drag it over, and now it's in your track. And then you hit play. I just want to hear that alone. Then you can adjust the volume for each track. There's a lot of little shit you can do with this thing, yo. Take a sip of water, try to get my thoughts in. Oh, I'm gonna see if I can rhyme fast with this shit. Hold up. I can't do that shit. I'm trying to catch the 1, 2, 3. Hold up. Nah, I don't think I can rhyme fast. The beat's so slow, I thought, let me see. You can do some slow shit with it though. Sip of water, get my thoughts in order before I cross the border. That borderline, my mentals, I meditate, it's simple. I conjugate my thoughts together, then look at them dimples. Cause I start to smile when I get an idea, and I have no fear. I put it right here, share it with my peers. 10-minute beats, then I repeat a couple bars, looking to the sky for stars, going too far, trying to touch that distant planet. Elon Musk going to Mars, man, that shit seems so bizarre, cause we constantly locking rockets and we getting out our pockets, and we spending so much knowledge now that AI, we can't stop it, cause that shit is like a chat, but man, they talking back to you when you ask a couple. Woo, I gotta do this shit though. Alright, this one is called J1. You set with me through this one real quick, bro. So J1. Done. Alright. Yeah, I gotta keep that one. You know what I'm saying? I gotta keep that one. I like it. It's like simple, but it got a little. It's that little ooh 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 ooh. Then that shit got the goddamn tamarines. Yeah, it's alright. It's like hey. You know what I'm saying? We got a little something. Now, alright. So once you get that much, now you can play with this motherfucker. So move that out of the way. So now I wanna add more of these bars in here. So what I want to do is section A, I want to duplicate that shit. And then I don't want to just stay on section B. I want to be on all the sections. Alright, now go back. So now we got 2 of them. So the shit, 8 bars, 16 bars. So normally what I do is I'll come to the second part and I'll drop something out. Maybe drop out 2 squares on one and then 1 square on another one. And then see how that rides, and it'll give it a break. So what we got, let's see what sounds good together. Oh, that might be the break right there. And then on the second one, all right, let me see. So if that's and that's the kick. All right, so watch. I'm gonna cut this. I'm gonna split it. I'm gonna split. You can go back and undo this too. I'm gonna take that much out of there. Split this one. Oh, you know what? I don't want to do that. I want to undo. So actually, I'm gonna split this one short. Delete that. That's the tambourine. And this is the main drone. Now I wonder if we leave the main drone out longer. And then I'm just trying something else. I might be fucking this shit up, but you can just go back and undo all this shit. Alright, delete that. Now I'll turn everything back on. And I ain't gonna run it from the top. So if we run it from here, so now we got a lot of gaps in this shit. So we'll see how the breakdown sound. I think that was too much. So what if I put that back in there? And then what if I don't chop as much of that off? I do just want to hear that by itself though. So wait a minute, what would it sound like? What would it sound like if I took that and that out? Hmm. Yeah, you want to send that shit to me? Yo, go on my Instagram, send me a voicemail. Send me a voicemail through Instagram or some shit, and I can record it and put your voice on this shit, bro. Come on, we can do that shit real quick. I don't like that shit. I guess I gotta keep the main lead in there. So if I drop that and then drop the fucking bass, or the bass kick back in, cause I'm not liking that one. You ain't getting that shit back? What do you think? I think that's not too bad. It's not too bad. I think we good right there. Ooh, y'all wanna get in a submarine and go see the Titanic? Nah, I'm good. Ain't a lot of people died on that boat. Nah, I'm good. I don't wanna go see that. I'm straight. Dude, in the, nah, nah, I don't. Yo, you know them people who went in that submarine to go see the Titanic? Yeah, somebody invited me. I turned down the offer. Well, them motherfuckers missing. Word? Not really surprised. Life is not fair, bro. But you're probably way more good looking than I am. So we all got strengths and weaknesses, man. You know what I'm saying? We all got strengths and weaknesses. I got talent. I had to sacrifice good looks for talent. You know, you might not be very talented, but pretty people get by in life a lot easier for some reason. And I don't like that. I think that's ugly discrimination. You know what I'm saying? Being ugly is not illegal, motherfuckers. You gotta take what you can get, bro. Titanic tourist submarine goes missing. I don't want to take a tour of the fucking Titanic. I just don't. I can't platinum a game either. Don't feel bad, man. I have yet to platinum a game my damn self. I have yet to platinum a game, bro. And I put motherfucking, bro. I put like, I'm not gonna exaggerate. I think I got like 3,000 hours on fucking Battlefield 4. Never platinum that bitch. Uh, Elder Scrolls Skyrim. I know I got like close to 1,000 hours on that bitch. Still ain't finished all the quests in that motherfucker. In the last game I tried to do that shit. I was like, okay, I'm gonna platinum this game. Was that fucking that Sifu, that karate game? Man, shit, bro. That motherfucking game so goddamn hard. I barely beat that motherfucker. Barely. I think like So the concept of the game is you die, but you come back. But when you come back like 2 or 3 years older, and that shit, you get older and older each time you die, and you can only fight to a certain age. I think it's like 75 or 76 years old. Like when if you hit like 70 something and you die, you just die for that last time. You gotta start back over. And yo, I beat that shit at the age limit. Like that, the first time I beat I was like 70 something years old, fighting my old ass off trying to beat that game. And that shit was hard as fuck, yo. I got a face made for texting. I got a face for radio. Yeah, I watch that shit on YouTube. I don't. That's like the one thing I don't really need to see in person. You know, they got really good cameras now. Just leave that shit to the trained professional researchers who get paid to do that shit, not the motherfuckers who gotta pay to go do that shit. I'm not paying you money to go in some submarine to go look at a massive grave site from 100 years ago. I'm good. We know the history. We watched the movie. There's plenty of documentaries and CGI uh, created versions so you can see how the Titanic was, and there's tons of photographs. And yeah, I don't need to see some rusty, rotten boat. Yeah, but it's fun. Nah. Whatever your idea of fun is, it's that's not my concept of fun. Now we gotta listen to this for a little bit. Let's see what the hell is this?
There's nothing more powerful than you making your thing happen. Doing business on your terms.
About 17 minutes. Yeah, I believe that the vessel is 12,000 feet underwater. The
Titanic
12,000
tourist
feet.
submarine missing.
If I said
It says 5 on board.
It's 12,000 feet. It's over 2 miles. So if I said
Executive
1,200,
of
which is
Ocean Gate
I
Expeditions,
apologize.
Stockton
12,000. I meant to
Rush,
say 12,000.
and
If I
French
said 1,200, it's my mouth saying
submarinal
something that I did not
pilot
intend to say,
Paul
so I
Henry
apologize. 12,000 feet below
Nargalet. The
below
Coast
the
Guard
surface is where the
will
wreckage is.
hold a news conference on the search at 4:30.
Yeah,
Where?
I've been checking
So where
Flight
did the
Radar,
Titanic go
guys,
down at?
and
That is
I
something
don't
else too,
really
though.
see anything on Flight Radar in the area. This is Flight Radar right here. These are all, none of these planes are search and rescue. So I'm just not seeing the planes. I'm guessing there's planes up there, but they're just not on Flight Radar. It would be in this
What?
area here. Again, marine traffic lists different ships. This is marine traffic. Thanks to my free 7-day trial, I can get the updates. That is a ship, Horizon Arctic, which is believed to be participating in the search and rescue from 1 minute ago. That is Skandi Vinland, which I think might be going to search and rescue from a minute ago. That is a ship, Copen Hobson, which definitely participating in search and rescue from about 5 hours ago. So it looks like this is the area they're...
So what I'm trying to work on for a little while here is motherfucking brakes, man. God damn, I don't know why I be doing this to myself. I swear, bro. So I got some of those bricks filled in there. I worked on this tree for a couple days. Damn. Please don't hit the iceberg. Oh my damn. Can't think about that, bro. I still gotta add a little more highlight details to these trees, but they're looking okay right now. So we're just trying to focus on the background. So my main task for the next couple of days is to add bricks to the building and start detailing the windows. which this shit is slow going to say the least. But we're getting there. I do like that little shadow right there from the awning that came up here. I really do like the play of light and shadow. So when I start detailing his face and I get to play with the shadows on his face, that's when he put in the shadows on the bench. So can't wait to get to that part. But for right now, brick by brick, man. Let's get some little teeny ass brushes and try to paint these motherfucking bricks. I mean, it's kind of fun, I guess. I'm not lying. I know I'm procrastinating right now. Alright, because this is the brush I'm using. And the only brush I can use. Because it's the perfect size for the bricks. Let me save my energy. And so how many, I can't even imagine like how many I put on here already. There's on average 4. That's already like 100 and something bricks right there. Man, this shit gonna have 1,000 bricks before it's done. The Big Apple? No. I can make them bricks on Minecraft. Just like it too, bro. Same color and everything. I would still spray paint Bronx Tune shit on that ball. Shit. Might have to, man. Alright, that beat is not bad. Appreciate it, J1. Thank you. Thank you for that one. Just turn that off. We're gonna switch the Bluetooth from the iPad to the laptop. Settings, Bluetooth, disconnect. Alright. Settings, Bluetooth and devices. Paired, connect. Alright, good. We're in there with that one.
With 5 people on board, dove yesterday in the morning. About an hour and 45 minutes after it dove, it lost contact with its support ship, from which supports it, the larger ship that supports it, the Polar Prince. This submersible lost contact with the support ship about an hour and 45 minutes.
An hour and 45 minutes? Man, this shit just getting started. What happened? I mean, y'all ain't checked the hatch, make sure everything was latched and buckled down and airtight and all that shit. Y'all ain't checked how much oxygen we had. Y'all ain't, what? Man, what? An hour and 45 minutes. So now what y'all think happened? For real? I think a sea monster got him. Five people, I mean, I don't know how much oxygen a submarine can hold for 5 people, but I don't know, because some of them, sometimes them submarines to be going down there, them motherfuckers be down there for like 4 hours, 3-4 hours. Doing deep sea treasure hunting or whatever. Some of these bricks ain't lining up and that shit alright.
The company that operates the submersible, a man by the name of Stockton Rush, and a third person, according to Sky News, on the submersible is French submersible pilot Paul-Henri Nargeolet. Do not know anything about the other 2 people on the submersible. So we're going to get an update from the Coast Guard. In 6 minutes, they are supposed to do a press briefing, and we'll hear what they have to say. Planning to have, I will have audio for you of the press briefing, and then after the press briefing, I'll have video for you of it. I will not have live video of it because they are not live streaming it, but they will have video posted shortly after the Coast Guard. So we're bringing you the latest. In about 5 minutes, we're going to hear from the Coast Guard. We'll bring you live audio of that, take your comments and questions on the air, and hopefully we get positive news about this. Very concerning that this submersible has not been heard from since yesterday.
And what they always say about the ocean, oh, we know less about...
Update here from BBC. Search should be...
We know less about what's at the bottom of the sea than we do about space. And you know why? That's why, motherfucker. That pressure change, some kind of just a tiny little leakage, and that change in pressure, and that cabin pressure, like you said, that shit'll fucking crush that shit, depending on how deep you're going. He said they were, what, estimated like 1,200 feet or something? I mean, 12,000 feet? Yeah, the Titanic sub, and that's all they're saying right now is that we don't know where it's at. But I don't know. So the Coast Guard is going to give a press statement in a few minutes, and what I don't know. They may tell us we haven't, found the vehicle or the vessel, or we did. And if you haven't found it, that there may be a lucky chance that they're off course and they're still out there. But if they found that shit already, so really ain't no telling what they about to tell us right now. But he said they're scheduled in 6 minutes. That was like a minute ago.
Okay, so we will be bringing you that live. And hang on a moment. Let me just make sure. I mean, I actually got an email from the Coast Guard press representative who said they're not live video streaming the press conference, but you never know. You never know. Maybe they will be live streaming the video. But that's what we're waiting for. So as soon as that starts, I will have audio of it for you. Let me do this while we wait.
I think I may need a smaller burst than this. I'll be damn.
Coast Guard to hold press briefing, 4:30 p.m. We don't new update or not. We just don't know what the Coast Guard is going to say. Who are with us? Really appreciate all of our moderators in the chat rooms. Thanks, by the way, to Kerry Poteet for gifting the memberships. Thanks also.
We don't know what the Coast Guard about to tell us.
Again, I can't steal other news outlets' video, so I can't just steal a news outlet's video that they own. But I should have audio. I'll have audio for you, and the Coast Guard themselves will be posting the video after the press conference. Teresa Gregory says, "Are there storms in the area the sub was lost?" I'll have to look at that after the press conference. Oh, hold on, hang on a second. What's this? Are they starting yet? Hold on. Hang on.
It was Gilligan, the skipper too.
Hang on
the
1 second.
millionaire in his wife.
Checking something else.
The
here.
movie star.
Hasn't
Professor
started yet.
and
Hasn't started
Mary
yet.
Ann.
So I'm just really keeping an eye on this to get you to start the audio from the start of the press conference. So sorry, I'm a little distracted right now, but it's going to start shortly. Then we'll talk to you guys about it and get your comments on here. Let me do that. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Hang on. Hang on.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Chief Petty Officer Robert Simpson. I'm the Assistant Public Affairs Officer for the 1st Coast Guard District in Boston, Massachusetts. In just a minute, I'll introduce Rear Admiral John Mauger, Commander of the 1st Coast Guard District. We're ready to give you a brief update on the case going on 900 miles east of Cape Cod in the search for 5 submariners. We do ask, following his brief statement, we'll be able to take a few questions and answers. We do ask that we give everybody the opportunity to ask one question, and if we have it to go through, we can be able to ask further questions beyond that. We only have time today for about 10 minutes, so he has a brief statement on here, and at this time I'd like to introduce Admiral John Mauger.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rear Admiral John Mauger. I'm the commander of the 1st Coast Guard District here in Boston, Massachusetts. And in this case, I am the lead for the Coast Guard search and rescue operations for the overdue submersible out near the wreck of the Titanic. Yesterday afternoon, we were notified by the operator of the submersible vessel that it was overdue, and it had 5 persons on board the submersible. So we're working very closely at this point to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to locate the submersible and rescue those on board. Our thoughts are with the crew members and the families on board, of those on board the submersible at this time, and we are doing everything that we can do to make sure that we can locate and rescue those on board. So after receiving the call, we reached out to the vessel, Polar Prince, and began a surface search looking for the submersible. At the same time, we launched a C-130 aircraft to conduct an aerial search, both visual and radar, of the scene. We've subsequently coordinated with the Canadian Coast Guard and Canadian Armed Forces to deploy additional assets to the scene. The Canadians have had a C-130 aircraft searching as well, in addition to also having a P-8 submarine search aircraft deploy as well, and put sonar buoys in the water in an attempt to listen. The location of the search is approximately 900 miles east of Cape Cod, in a water depth of roughly 13,000 feet. It is a remote area, and it is a challenge to conduct a search in that remote area. But we are deploying all available assets to make sure that we can locate the craft and rescue the people on board. Going into this evening, we will continue to fly aircraft and move.
Okay, the first question should be, how long can that vehicle sustain 5 people on an oxygen supply?
We rely on commercial operators,
because if it only got
vessels on scene,
6 hours of oxygen for 5 people, you already know you're not going to find anybody.
Operating in the area, as well as initiating the movement of additional Canadian Coast Guard assets and U.S. Coast Guard surface assets into the area over the course of the next couple of days. Adding to the complexity of this case is the fact that this was a submersible vessel, and so we need to make sure that we're looking both on the surface for the vessel if it had surfaced back to the water, but it somehow lost communications with the vessel, and that's what the aircraft and the surface search vessel is allowing us to do right now. But we're also having to search in the water column, and we're doing that right now with the use of sonar buoys and sonar on the ship that's out there to listen for any sounds that we can detect in the water column. Over the course of the next couple days, we anticipate adding additional capability to conduct additional search in the water as those commercial assets arrive on scene. Again, our thoughts are with the families and the crew members on board the submersible, and we're working very closely with all U.S. And international partners to provide any capability that we can provide to search for the overdue vessel and rescue the crew members on board. At this point, we'll take questions. So in terms of locating the overdue submersible, we have to make sure that we're looking on both the surface using aerial and surface vessels, but then expanding into underwater search as well. Right now our capability is limited to sonar buoys and listening for sounds, but we're working very hard to increase the capability. We understand from the operator of the vessel that the vessel was designed with a 96-hour sustainment capability if there was an emergency on board. And so we're using that time, making the best use of every moment of that time to locate the vessel.
That's what I wanted to know. 96 hours? Okay, y'all got time. So if that shit is fucking lodged somewhere or stuck somewhere,
I'm not in a
or
position to confirm the identity of anybody on board the vessel. Out of respect for the families, we're going through the notification process, and more updates will be forthcoming. That's absolutely part of the overall planning for this search case. Right now we're focused on locating the vessel, but at the same time, if we find this vessel in the water, then we will have to effect some sort of rescue or coordinating, reaching out to different partners within the U.S. Navy, within the Canadian Armed Forces, and within private industry to understand what underwater rescue capability might be available. So at this moment, we're focused on the search and understanding the capabilities of the vessels that are deploying to the scene. So the sonar capabilities within the sonar buoys and within the hull of the commercial vessel that is out there operating on site, those aren't Coast Guard sonars, they are capable of listening to a depth of 13,000 feet, as I understand it. So in terms of the square mileage of the search, I don't have that number right at this moment, but it includes both a surface area that we're looking at and a subsurface area. And so we'll get you the exact number for the square mileage of the search. In terms of the hours, we understood that that was 96 hours of rescue or emergency capability from the operator, and so we anticipate that there's somewhere between 70 to the full 96 hours available at this point. So it's certainly the purpose of the submarine was to, as I understand, the purpose of the submersible was to provide opportunity to visit the wreck site and explore the wreck site. So that's a possibility. Again, right now our focus is getting on as much capability into the area as we can and understanding that full capability of those assets that are being deployed. Our aerial assets that are being deployed have the capability to do both visual and radar searches, and the Canadians' asset had the ability to drop sonar buoys and listen, and so we're using all that information to improve our search capability. So we're working through that right now, but what we're really focused on at the moment is really locating the vessel, which could either be in the surface or subsurface. And so we're bringing in technical expertise to understand both the dynamics of underwater search and underwater rescue operations. So as search and rescue professionals, we work very, very hard, and our crews take this personally. Our first thoughts are with the crew members and the families of those on board. And so we want to make sure that we have done absolutely everything that we can do to locate their family members and bring them home safe. And so they're first and foremost in our thoughts every moment of this search operation.
So how common are these human things getting in general about danger violation without emergency?
I don't have any details on how often folks visit the wreck site there at Titanic, nor any specific comments on the dangers involved. Certainly, every time ships go to sea, they encounter hazards and dangers. And so having properly prepared vessels, properly prepared crew members, and making sure that you practice emergency procedures, good practical advice for anybody that goes to sea. So at this point, I'm not going to discuss any information about the families and communications with the families. And so we'll provide that with future updates. So the Coast Guard has two C-130 aircraft. In addition to the command team that's working here, we have two C-130 aircraft deployed. The Canadians have a C-130 aircraft and a P-8 aircraft. We also have access to and will launch this evening a C-130 aircraft from the New York National Guard to make sure that we have sufficient air assets up there. On the surface, we have the commercial operator that's been on site, and we're bringing additional surface search assets into play, which will also bring in some subsurface search capability. Last question, please. I understand from the operator that there was one pilot or submersible commander or operator on board, and that there were 4 mission specialists on board is the term that the operator uses for it. So five total. We have to ask the operator what that means. What we're focused on is finding those 5 people. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, so that was the update from the Coast Guard, and we didn't really hear much new. Confirmation that the ship, the submersible's been missing since yesterday. Hang on one moment here. Hang on one moment. One moment here. One moment.
So I'm not sure the exact time of when it started. As far as the communication on there was the 96 hours total on there. I'm not sure if that's the amount of time total that it can stay underwater, or if that starts another time. We'll clarify and get back to you on that. Right. Right. When did that clock start for the 96 hours? Yeah. Yeah, no, we don't have information on the specifics of how the submersible is set up for any kind of emergency. As far as we know, we don't have any of that. We don't know anything. We do know that the aircraft that we have on scene that are searching area can search a large area within that period of time over assets. So if they're on the surface, we'll be able to see them in the cruise. Maybe for the persons on the submarine itself, I don't know. I don't know what the experience level of the was. No, we don't have any indication, anything like that. It's only just that the communication had been lost. Not specifically like necessarily what was said on there, but it was about an hour and 45 minutes into their dive. Was the last communication, the last recorded communication that they had. I don't have specifics on if it was stopped suddenly or if it was just a check-in period of time. They just didn't. But,
And that's something too. Like, do they have to check in every so often?
I
Every
think the dive started on Sunday.
20 minutes? Every 30 minutes? This is Submarine 1 to Mothership. Everything is A-OK. Alright, Submarine 1, continue on with your
I believe
investigation.
6 feet with no visibility with fog. Is what? 3 to 6 foot seas, yeah.
And so if they
But
did,
offshore is fairly.
if they did
it's
just
like
stop communication without any warning, then whatever happened was a surprise to them motherfuckers.
More than likely, Will, I think just to keep this kind of a central location, if we moved it down.
Because if it's something with the instruments, well, I don't know.
So if we do,
I don't know how shit like that actually works, but
and the next time we'll have more advanced notice.
I would imagine like you have
as soon as we get today,
sensors and everything else that lets you know if there's something wrong. So if their craft was experiencing something, they could have radioed back, hey, Mothership, we're coming back early. Seems like, we're losing pressure slowly or something. But the motherfuckers just didn't say nothing to the fucking control ship.
You heard the next briefing likely won't be until tomorrow. It's been basically roughly a day since this submersible lost contact with its parent ship. Why it lost contact, we don't know. But this is the submersible here. Let me show you again. This is from the company's website. Get that on the screen here.
I want to see what this shit look like too.
Oops. That's the Titan submersible right there.
And 5 people.
These are some photos of this is from the company Ocean Gate website. This is the submersible that's been missing. Carries 5 people. There it is right there. Any other pictures I want to show you of it here. Here's another picture of it. That's it being transformed to its launch platform, I guess. That's what it looks like. This thing right here.
Interesting.
Our viewer says, T-Nitro says, even if they find it, how do they bring it up? Yeah, bringing it up if it's on the bottom, it's a whole other issue bringing it up. This is, again, it's 21 feet long.
Oh, yeah,
these are just pictures of it.
It's definitely longer than it look in the picture, man. That's 21 feet.
From the company website. And here is a picture of what it looks like. Sorry, let me get out of this. Here's a picture of what it looks like inside that the company also put out. This is from a Rob Report article. That's what it looks like inside the submersible. Inside the Titan. Yeah, the website was having problems earlier. I think maybe the main page isn't working, but some of the other pages are working. Oh, there's the main page. Crewed submersibles for charter and scientific exploration. Titanic Survey Expedition. This one was taking people to see and explore the Titanic wreckage. All right, I want to take some comments from you guys. At Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. Send me what you're hearing. Let me know your comments at Lookner on Twitter. I want to just say a quick thank you to our moderators. And before I do that, let me say a quick thanks for your support. Seize the Day, Kerry Poteet, Emma Wilkinson, thank you. Yeah, let me just thank all of our moderators. They are the reason that we can have chat rooms. They're a really important part of the channel. Sarah55 is moderating over there on YouTube. Al Star is there. Rusty G. BZ. So huge thanks to all of our mods. I'm going to be taking some more of your comments soon. Also, Larry and Linda Belk moderate over there on Twitter. Thanks so much to you both. Over there on Twitch, Bastion Girl, David Green, Idaho Star, Papa Bear, Skip Fu, Surly Dev, and Terrier. And also, thanks to our Facebook mods, including K. Larry Body, and Paul Thomas, Paul Anderson, Bud Green, thank you. Quick thanks also to Eve Richards and AJ Lofthouse for the Facebook stars, also Jamie Langerich and Joe Carey for the Facebook stars, and also a thank you over there on Twitch to Kiatro for subscribing, to Pancakes X Bacon for your support, that Man for your support as well. And as I said before, let's just hope that certainly it's very worrying that this submersible has been missing for over a day now, it sounds like. But let's just hope that this submersible can be found. It could be on the surface, it could be underwater. Let's hope it can be found and that the crew members, the people on that submersible, can be brought to safety. 5 people on board. 3 of the people reported to be on board are one UK billionaire and explorer, Hamish Harding, who posted on his social media that he was on board. That's Hamish Harding's social media. That's his Instagram. There he is right there. And he had said yesterday, or 2 days ago, he had posted that a weather window has just opened up and we are going to attempt a dive tomorrow. We started steaming from St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada yesterday and are planning to start dive operations around 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. So he is one of the people on board reportedly. Also the founder and chairman of the company that runs the whole operation, that runs the submersible. His name is Stockton Rush, is reportedly on that submersible, and also a French submersible pilot, Paul-Henri Nargeolet, according to Sky News, is on the submersible. We haven't heard anything about the other 2 people reported to be on that submersible. But those are what we've heard about the 5 people. And, oh, hold on a second, guys. Flight radar update. News update here from Flight Radar 24. Our most tracked flight now is a U.S. Air Force C-130 en route to assist with the search for the missing submersible. So if we go to Flight Radar 24, we'll be able to see this plane. I hope. Let's refresh this here. Yes, that is it. That is a U.S. Air Force HC-130J, and you can see it is flying to the east of Massachusetts. Let's see. So there, Newfoundland is up here. So it has a little more ways to go. Newfoundland is here. So it's gonna end up, I believe, somewhere in this area over here. But that plane is flying to participate in the search and rescue operation. They are looking on the surface and underwater. It is traveling at 350 knots. So just eyeballing it, it probably has another hour or so, hour and a half to get to the search area. And then in terms of the ships on the ships helping to search for this, we were looking at marine traffic earlier, and I'll go back to marine traffic, the live map, and show you what they have.
I don't know.
This is marine traffic
When they said, "Oh, a billionaire is on board," okay, that's a hit on this motherfucker. Why I always gotta think criminal minded like that? But anyway, and then they said, "Oh no, the guy who owns the company, he's on that motherfucker too." Now that's crazy. But how you go down with a down ship? Now they 2 wrecks down there. So now in a couple of years, people gonna take another submarine ride to go see the submarine. They got lost trying to find the Titanic. Bro, how a billionaire and the owner of the company own that shit at the same time, and y'all can't find these motherfuckers? Wait a minute, man. Somebody trying to collect some insurance or take over a company? What y'all did to them people? Them been some Epstein homeboys y'all trying to X out real quick? What's going on, man? I say the billionaire already sound well. On top of that, who the fuck can afford a submarine ride to the Titanic in some state of the art motherfucking something? I mean, I know that shit can't be cheap. And he making that shit all public. They showed a picture of the billionaire dude. He was like, had a T-shirt that said "To the Titanic," and he was signing it, or it was a flag or something, a Titanic flag. But he made that shit well known. He was about to go out there and do that. So there's 5 people: a billionaire, the owner. They said there's 1 pilot, so that's 3. So who are the other 2 motherfuckers? Is what I want to know. Bro, who these other 2 motherfuckers is on that boat? I mean, or that submarine. 1 billionaire. I mean, well, they call all the names, but once again, who are these people? You somebody important? Shit starting to sound weird, bro. Starting to sound weird.
Look at the.
Somebody probably sabotaged
That's a picture, right? So this is a picture from. You know, those ships are like up here. This picture is from. This graphic is from the company that runs the expedition, and they have the Titanic here, which makes sense because, according to the Coast Guard, the ship is about 900 miles east of Cape Cod, and this is Cape Cod. So, yeah, one of the viewers mentioned that where those ships are on the radar is not, it's way more north than, because Cape Cod is right here. So you think that the Titanic wreckage is somewhere in here. However, maybe there's I don't know why these ships are based here. There might be a reason that these ships are here. They're both there. And again, in terms of Horizon Arctic, that is a ship that Marine Traffic said they believe was involved in the search and rescue. I'll show you that post by Marine Traffic. If you look right here, they said They said 3 tugs seem headed to the site of the
photographer.
Titanic wreck, where a small submersible that takes
And then, now why
painkillers
the
to view wreck
fucking
is gone
ships ain't
missing.
looking in the right area?
AIS shows 3 tugs left Port St. John's, listing destination as Titanic wreck and search and rescue. Now the Polar Prince is the boat it's the parent boat, it's the support boat for the submersible. So that would have
Polar
been traveling
Prince.
with the submersible. But the Kopit, Hobson, and Horizon Arctic are both listed here. So again, I don't know, according to Marine Traffic, they think Horizon Arctic is involved in the search. Granted that where it is right now seems significantly north of where the Titanic wreckage would be, but I don't know how the search is conducted and how that all works.
Or how it doesn't work when you don't want it to.
Anthony Colburn says ships possibly transferring supplies. Maybe these 2 ships here have some involvement.
Why it sound like you're saying 2
in
shits
the search and
instead of
rescue.
ships?
That's not like literally going right over where the ship, where the submersible went to. And then on Flight Radar 24, we still have this flight right here. Oh, is it not up there anymore? Oh, it probably lost. Did it lose radar contact? I wonder if it did. There was a U.S. Coast Guard plane up there before, but I think maybe it might have lost contact.
Suspicious.
Because we don't see it on the radar now, and it was heading out. It was heading out towards the search area, but I don't. Is that it? That's not it. Yeah, I don't see it there anymore. But maybe it just maybe it's not. Maybe they turned off their tracker or whatever. I'm not sure. We just a few minutes ago we checked and it was the most tracked flight. Now it's just not on flight radar. Sam Stamos thinks that plane turned off this transponder. I'll tell you this: I've been checking the flight radar during this broadcast today, and I haven't. And we know there's planes. We know there's multiple planes involved in the search, and I haven't seen any of those planes on the flight radar. For whatever that's worth.
It's a secret reconnaissance rescue effort
Let's see here.
that's publicly known. Shit is sounding fishy. See how I did that? That was a underwater joke.
Give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter. Checking some of the messages people have sent in.
Shit smells a little
Our
fishy to
viewer
me.
Patrick Duffy, this is Patrick Duffy's opinion. Patrick Duffy says, my heart goes out to the families of the crew. Yeah, let's just hope that they can find this ship and save the people inside. Patrick Duffy thinks only 4 scenarios can happen if not floating on surface: flooded, equipment failure and sitting on bottom, oxygen failure, imploded. That's what Patrick thinks. Patrick is a pretty pessimistic assessment of this. Well, I just hope that the thing is okay. I'm not an expert on these things. We know that the Coast Guard is searching above, on the surface and underwater, and hopefully we can hear some
No,
good
Patrick
news.
just said the same thing that everybody else
This
is
was that
thinking.
flight that's no longer visible on the flight radar.
Which is, worst case scenario. We all know what the best case scenario is.
The ship, the submersible has 96 hours of life support, according to the company.
And the owner is on it, so I guess that's been
how
tested.
The sonar buoys work. What sound could they pick up on in the event the submersible lost power? The range of the buoys. All I can tell you is in the press conference, the Coast Guard said sonar buoys can detect all the way down to the bottom there, 13,000 feet down. As to what sound they might detect, what they might be looking for from this submersible, that I do not know. That I don't know. Lowell says the whole situation just doesn't sound good. I know we don't really know, but given the timing and the facts we have learned, it certainly does not lead one to be optimistic about a rescue. I mean, look, on the one hand, that submersible has 96 hours of life support on it, according to the company, and it's been about 24 hours or so since the ship lost contact. On the other hand, the submersible has been out of contact for over 24 hours now, which obviously is not good. So, again, I'm not an expert on these things. Obviously it's a very concerning situation. So our viewer, Shamar El Hain, says losing contact is not good.
Duh. Nigga.
Yeah, I don't know. Our viewer Ghost of Palface asked about the timing.
It sounds
So
like a whale of
we
a
know
tail.
that the ship lost contact. The submersible lost contact with its parent ship.
See how he
about
did
an hour and
that?
45
That's an underwater
minutes
joke.
into its dive. We know the submersible dove sometime yesterday morning. We know the submersible was reported missing to the Coast Guard yesterday afternoon. I don't know about the exact hours. It could be that the company reported the ship missing to the Coast Guard very soon after it lost contact.
It said an
Or
hour and
maybe there
45
was a
minutes.
delay. I don't know how much time elapsed between the time
Oh shit. My bad.
the parent ship lost contact with the submersible and when the Coast Guard was contacted. I just don't know. We don't have that information. Hold on a second. Let me go back to. I have too much open on my desktop and I can't find things. Hang on one moment.
Tighten that shit up, Steve. You're getting all clustered over there.
I wanted to see if there was any update about the position of the Polar Prince.
That's the boat that launched the submarine?
That's the wrong Polar Prince. That is not the right Polar Prince. It says vessel is out of range. This is yeah, we don't have a new position. This is the vessel that was carrying that right there. The Polar Prince is the vessel that's the parent vessel, the support vessel that was carrying and supporting the submersible. And the last confirmed position for that is from Saturday morning. Now maybe it's roughly there. That might be. I mean, that looks kind of where I guess the Titanic is supposed to be. But maybe it's not as far south because we know that it's supposed to be 900 miles east of Cape Cod is where the wreck is where the search is, and Cape Cod is here. So I don't know if this was Saturday morning. That's an old position there. So maybe it kept going further south before the submersible launched. I don't know. Okay, the Polar Prince is the ship that would carry the submersible. Give me a shout. Let me know what you're hearing. At Lookner on Twitter, taking your comments, bringing you updates. Our viewer, 3-Point Rato, sent me this. Jim Roberts posted this from a CBS News interview. I guess I can't play it on the air. There is a CBS News interview with Stockton Rush, apparently the CEO of Ocean Gate, who's one of the people believed to be on the craft. I'm guessing this is this on the Titan submersible? I don't know. I haven't watched the video. The shots I've seen from inside the Titan look similar to this, but I can't play that video on the air because it's a CBS News video. Quick update here. This is a bit unrelated. It's unrelated, but this is from weather specialist James Spann. Tropical storm Brett has formed in the Atlantic, I would assume that is, unless it's the Caribbean Sea. National Hurricane Center forecast brings it to a hurricane on Wednesday, then weakens the system to a tropical storm this weekend in the Caribbean due to shear. Still a good deal of uncertainty in the track intensity forecast. Still too early to know if it impacts the contiguous U.S. We might have the video of that press briefing from the Coast Guard. Quick thanks to John Goff. John says, do we know if it was tethered? No, it was not tethered. There's no reporting that it was tethered. It's not tethered. You can see pictures of it where it doesn't have a tether on it. So this was not a tethered vehicle. No tether. Not a tethered vessel, I meant to say. There's a gallery here with pictures. Where's the gallery? Titan. There's a picture of the Titan diving down. There's a picture of the Titan as well. Yeah, I'm not an expert on this thing, but literally no reporting about it being tethered. There it is as well. What was I going to just show you? I was going to show you something.
The press release. The press release.
Oh, I know what I wanted to show you guys. I know what I wanted to show you.
Ouch.
It is not posted there yet, or is it? The Coast Guard has not posted video yet of their press conference. They're going to. There are 5 people confirmed on that ship. Our viewer Tony sent me this from Chris Kavas. Chris Kavas is a naval warfare journalist and commentator. He says, from the just concluded U.S. Coast Guard briefing on missing submersible Titan diving on Titanic with 5 people aboard, last communications from craft were about an hour and 40 minutes into its dive. He says, understand the craft has a 96-hour endurance. Right, this is stuff we've heard. U.S. Coast Guard was notified something the craft was missing. There's some different planes helping to look for it. Sonobuoys have been dropped from the aircraft and expedition ship. Polar Prince, which is the expedition ship, also has sonar. Okay. This is just going over some of the stuff that was
It's wherever you want it to be.
I should keep an eye on his feet, though. Let me see if I can get you some more analysis here. Here, look, guys. Here's a map right there. Right there. There's a map. You can see it's the wreck of the Titanic, presumably where the submersible would be in that area, is east of Cape Cod and southeast of Newfoundland. Right there. Flight radar. Oh yeah, I don't believe these helicopters are search and rescue helicopters. These helicopters, there's frequently helicopters that go in this direction, back and forth, I believe. So we looked at this before.
I feel like I need a ruler right now.
We were looking at one of these before, and it just like every day it did this kind of route. So I do not believe that these helicopters are involved in search and rescue. You can even just like go to it and see, like this is CHI 52. Yeah, this is CHI 52 helicopter, right? Just look at its past history here. So this is June 13th. That's June 13th. It did that flight. Here is June 12th. It did that flight. I mean, so it's just like flying the same route it always flies, it seems like. So I don't believe that either of these two are search and rescue, because they basically fly in that area frequently. Some of our viewers, like for the hell, but think they're flying to oil rigs, maybe, but I don't believe those are search and rescue helicopters.
Yeah, they might be flying to oil rigs.
I was checking for some other updates here. Hang on one moment here. The Washington Post article about this today. Submersible vanishes near Titanic wreck, search for 5 aboard underway. If you go down here, it says, last year Stockton Rush, the CEO of OceanGate, which runs the expeditions to the Titanic, told CBS that the expedition cost $250,000 per person. Rush said some of the Titanic enthusiasts, or Titaniacs, who travel on the submersible mortgage their homes or go on the trip or save for 30 years, while others are so rich they don't think twice about the cost. David Pogue, a CBS reporter who went on the Titanic expedition, said via Twitter, via the submersible that he traveled on, also went missing for a few hours last year.
What?
Well, this says neither Stockton Rush nor OceanGate can be immediately reached to discuss the missing. Reportedly, according to Sky News, Stockton Rush is on the submersible.
So they shit went missing one time before? Oh, hell no. Y'all got a track record of losing motherfuckers, man. I'm so good.
Sometimes articles will have like some analysis mixed in. Not much there.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be lost under fucking 13,000 feet of water. They down there having some kind of weird sex cult orgy in a fucking submarine. They had to turn off all the cameras and
You can see here, the New York
shit.
Times says, Ocean Gate chartered a vessel, the MV Polar Prince, to serve as the ship on the surface near the dive site. The company's website outlines an 8-day itinerary for the trip out of St. John's, Newfoundland, Canada. The site says customers do not require any previous diving experience, but there are a few physical requirements like being able to board small boats in active seas.
You can't be fat. I want to go. You can't. Oh, you discriminating. Nigga, you can't fit. The hole is this big. Well, look at you. You can't fit, nigga.
Fox News has an article, Titanic expert very hopeful missing Ocean Gate tourist submarine will be found. Speaking to Canada's NTV Evening News, Titanic expert Larry Daly acknowledged the dangers of deep submersible diving, but argued that technology has gotten much better in recent years. Deep submersible diving is very dangerous, he said, but it's very high tech, and as each year goes by, the equipment gets better, the technology gets better, so I'm very hopeful, I'm very positive. He noted that participants can stay in the vessel for hours if the equipment is maintained properly. Nick Soft says if Canada's closer, why is the U.S. taking the lead? Because it is technically, I believe, in U.S. waters. That's my understanding. This is interesting from here. David Concannon, an advisor to the company that runs the submersible, said Ocean Gate lost contact with the sub Sunday morning and had a 96-hour oxygen supply, reports Fox News. Now 32 hours since sub left surface. He posted, off the seat he posted this. Now 32 hours since sub left surface, said Concannon, who said he was supposed to be on the dive but could not go due to another client matter. He said officials are working to get a remotely operated vehicle that can reach a depth of about 20,000 feet to the site as soon as possible. The Titanic, I believe, is about 12,000 feet down. Let me see if I can find, if he posted on Facebook, that guy David Cannon. I don't think he posted an update.
I was supposed to go, but I had a meeting.
Again, I showed you this before. He said, as I posted last week, I was supposed to be on this expedition and indeed on this dive, but I had to cancel to attend another urgent client matter. Last night I was called and asked to provide whatever assistance I could to ensure the safe return of everyone in the sub. Of course, I immediately agreed. 13,000 feet down, not 12,000 feet. Thanks, by the way, Laverne Thompson, for the Facebook stars. Thank you, Laverne. The Independent says the Titanic wreckage is about 12,500 feet at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Thanks to Baby Blue Sky, who says, I thought any vessel that could assist must assist on the waters. Do we have info on how this idea applies to the submersible? Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, what I know is that this is a remote area of the ocean and a difficult area to search, because that's what was said in the press conference. So, you know, realistically speaking, you know, I understand this idea that like if there's people in the water, then maybe any ship nearby is supposed to go there and help. I don't know that, say, like an oil tanker that might be somewhat nearby would be able to provide any useful help whatsoever. So my assumption is that if a ship is in the area, and my assumption would be that if a ship is in the area and the authorities think it's going to be really helpful for that ship to help, they would ask the ship to help. But you know, I don't know that, for example, if an oil tanker is like a day away, if there's a realistic chance that the oil tanker would go over there and find the submersible on the surface. So I don't know what the expectations are for ships. I'm not a ship expert or anything like that. At the same time, though, it was said in the press conference that this is a remote part of the ocean. I mean, this thing could be floating on the surface, but they're working on the surface and underneath. I mean, just looking at marine traffic, it's not going to have a small sailboat out there, I don't think. Looking at marine traffic, I mean, this is marine traffic showing you ships in the area, and like, I mean, the area we're talking about is down here, is roughly down here. There are not many ships in that area. That's a tug in special craft. I don't know what that is. These are out of AIS range, so I guess they can't be identified on my plan. I think I signed up for the wrong trial. I signed up for a trial of this, a 7-day trial that costs $1,400, and I thought that would actually get me. That would actually get me all the information for 7 days. So maybe I should look at.
Well, trying to stay up to date on that.
Welcome to Tucker Carlson Today. Elon Musk is a car maker, a rocket maker, CEO of SpaceX and Tesla, and now the owner of Twitter. He said he purchased the social media site in order to protect free speech in the country. We just talked with him for over an hour about what he's doing and what he thinks is artificial intelligence. He has been one of the voices calling for a pause in the development of that technology, which he appears to consider very dangerous. We had an amazing conversation with Elon Musk. Here it is.
So all of a sudden AI is everywhere. People weren't quite sure what it was, or playing with it on their phones. Is that good or bad?
Artificial insemination.
Yes, artificial insemination. It's everywhere.
That's what they call it in the ag industry.
I'm talking about a more digital form. Yes.
So I've been thinking about AI for a long time since I was in college, really. It was one of the things that, the sort of 4 or 5 things that would really affect the future of humanity. It is fundamentally profound in that the smartest creature defining characteristic.
Yes.
We're obviously weaker than, say, chimpanzees, less agile, we're smarter. So now what happens when something vastly smarter than the smartest person comes along in silicon form? It's very difficult to predict what will happen in that circumstance. It's called the singularity. It's a singularity like a black hole. And if you don't know what happens after that, it's hard to predict. So I think we should be cautious with AI, and I think there should be some government oversight, because it affects it's a danger to the public. And so when you have things that are a danger to the public, like let's say sort of food and drugs. That's why we had the Food and Drug Administration and the Federal Aviation Administration, the FCC. We have these agencies to oversee things that affect the public, where there could be public harm. And you don't want companies cutting corners on safety and then having people suffer as a result. So that's why I've actually for a long time been a strong advocate of AI regulation. Something I think regulation is, it's not fun to be regulated. It's somewhat arduous to be regulated. I have a lot of experience with regulated industries because obviously automotive is highly regulated. You could fill this room with all the regulations that are required for a production car, just in the United States, and there's a whole different set of regulations in Europe and China and the rest of the world. So, very familiar with being overseen by a lot of regulators. And the same thing is true with rockets. You can't just willy-nilly, shoot rockets off, but not big ones anyway, because the FAA oversees that. And then even to get a launch license, there are like half a dozen or more federal agencies that need to approve it, plus state agencies. So I've been through so many regulatory situations, it's insane. And sometimes people think I'm some sort of like regulatory maverick that sort of defies regulators on a regular basis, but this is actually not the case. Once in a blue moon, rarely I will disagree with regulators, but the vast majority of the time, my companies agree with the regulations and comply. So I think we should take this seriously, and we should have a regulatory agency. I think it needs to start with a group that initially seeks insight into AI, then solicits opinion from industry, and then has proposed rulemaking, and then those rules, will probably hopefully grudgingly be accepted by the major players in AI, and I think we'll have a better chance of advanced AI being beneficial to humanity in that circumstance.
But all regulations start with a perceived danger. Planes fall out of the sky, or food causes botulism.
Yes.
I don't think the average person playing with AI on his iPhone perceives any danger. Can you just roughly explain what you think the dangers might be?
Yeah. So the danger, really, AI is perhaps more dangerous than, say, mismanaged aircraft design or production maintenance or bad car production, in the sense that it has the potential, however small one may regard that probability, but it is non-trivial. It has the potential of a civilizational destruction. There's movies like Terminator, but it wouldn't quite happen like Terminator, because the intelligence would be in the data centers.
Right.
The robot's just the end effector. But I think perhaps what you may be alluding to here is that regulations are really only put into effect after something terrible has happened.
That's correct.
And if that's the case for AI, and we only put in regulations after something terrible has happened, it may be too late to actually put the regulations in place. The AI may be in control at that point.
You think that's real? It is conceivable that AI could take control and reach a point where you couldn't turn it off, and it would be making decisions for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
No, that's definitely the way things are headed, for sure. The things like say ChatGPT, which is based on GPT-4 from OpenAI, which is a company that I played a critical role in creating, unfortunately.
Back when it was a nonprofit.
Yes. The reason OpenAI exists at all is that Larry Page and I used to be close friends, and I would stay at his house in Palo Alto, and I would talk to him late into the night about AI safety. And at least my perception was that Larry was not taking AI safety seriously enough.
What did he say about it?
he really seemed to be one sort of digital super intelligence, basically digital God, if you will, as soon as possible.
He wanted that?
Yes. And he's made many public statements over the years that the whole goal of Google is what's called AGI, artificial general intelligence, or artificial superintelligence. And I agree with him that there's great potential for good, but there's also potential for bad. And so if you've got some radical new technology, you want to try to take a set of actions that maximize the probability that it will do good and minimize the probability it will do bad things.
Yes.
It can't just be helpful others, just go, barreling forward and, hope for the best. And then at one point, I said, well, what about, we're going to make sure humanity's okay here. And then he called me a speciesist.
Did he use that term?
Yes. And there were witnesses. I wasn't the only one there when he called me a speciesist. And so I was like, okay, that's it. Yes, I'm a speciesist. Okay, you got me. What are you? Yeah, I'm fully a speciesist. Busted. So that was his last straw. At the time, Google had acquired DeepMind, and so Google and DeepMind together had about 3/4 of all the AI talent in the world. They obviously had a tremendous amount of money and more computers than anyone else. So I'm like, okay, we're in a unipolar world here, where there's just one company that it has close to a monopoly on AI talent and computers, like scale computing, and the person who's in charge doesn't seem to care about safety. This is not good. So, so then I thought, okay, what's the furthest thing from Google would be like a non-profit that is fully open, because Google was closed for profit. So that's why the open and OpenAI refers to open source, transparency, so people know what's going on.
Yes.
And that we don't want it to have like while I'm normally in favor of for-profit, we don't want this to be sort of a profit-maximizing demon from hell.
That's right.
That just never stops.
Right.
So that's how OpenAI would.
So you want speciesist incentives here, incentives that.
Yes, I think we want pro-human.
Yeah.
Let's make the future good for the humans.
Yes.
Yes, because we're humans, and there are also the other creatures on Earth too. But we're gonna. I think I think people sometimes take the fact that like we're here on Earth for granted. That there's the consciousness is just a normal thing that happens. But to the best of my knowledge, we see no evidence of conscious life anywhere in the universe. So it might be there. Physics equals sort of the Fermi paradox. When Enrico Fermi, who's an amazing physicist, asked the fundamental question, where are the aliens?
Yeah.
A lot of people ask me, where are the aliens? And I think if anyone would know about aliens on Earth, it would probably be me.
I would think.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with space stuff. And I've seen no evidence of aliens. So I would immediately tweet it out. It says split second. I'd be like, well, all time, probably a top tweet of all time. Tell one, guys. This is a jackpot. This is some 8 billion likes. Next level jackpot if you find the aliens. Like I don't think they're keeping us under, and there was like some general, I think in the 60s, who would say like, show us the aliens, like Area 51, etc. And he said like, listen, we are constantly trying to get the defense budget to expand, and you know what would really get no arguments for anyone? If we pull out an alien and said, we need money to protect ourselves from these guys. How much money do you want? You got it. They look dangerous. So, the fastest way to get a defense budget increase would be to pull out an alien, We're like, yeah, that could be the invasion theory, could be arriving any minute, who knows? So, So I digress.
But you were saying that our consciousness makes us unique in the universe as far as we know. And that we
Yes,
can't
I'm not
create-
saying that we are unique. I'm simply stating, to the best of my knowledge, that there is no evidence for other
Yes.
conscious life. And I hope that there is, and I hope they're peaceful. Obviously, the two important characteristics. But we're saying we haven't seen anything yet. So.
But you think that we take our existence here for granted?
Yeah, I think
that there are threats to it.
Yeah, exactly. So. I just think we should not assume that civilization is robust. And if you look at the history of civilizations, the rise and fall of the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Sumerians, Rome, there's throughout the world there've been the rise and fall of many civilizations. So there's an arc, there's sort of a life cycle arc to civilizations, just as there is to individual humans.
Yes.
And I think we just want to make sure that we have civilization go onward and upward. And that's, for example, why I'm concerned about decreasing birth rates and the fact that, for example, Japan had twice as many deaths last year as births. So that's they're a leading indicator.
Can I say, and you've written a lot and talked a lot about this, but can I just ask you to pause just for a parenthetical note? Why is that? I mean, the urge to have sex and to procreate is, after breathing and eating, the most basic urge. Yeah. How has it been subverted?
Well, it's just in the past we could rely upon simple limbic system rewards
Yes.
in order to procreate. But once you have birth control and abortions and whatnot, now you can still satisfy the limbic instinct but not procreate. So we haven't yet evolved to deal with that, because this is all fairly recent, the last 50 years or so, for birth control. So yeah, I'm sort of worried that, hey, civilization, if we don't make enough people to at least sustain our numbers, perhaps increase a little bit, then civilization's going to crumble. And there's the old question of will civilization end with a bang or a whimper? Well, it's currently trying to end with a whimper in adult diapers,
Yes.
Which is depressing as hell.
The most depressing.
I mean, seriously, yeah.
War is less depressing.
Yeah, it's really bad with a bang.
Yeah, and with your shoes on.
Yeah.
Not with your
More
diaper.
chatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you just put it, I keep pressing you, but just for people who haven't thought this through and aren't familiar with it, and the cool parts of artificial intelligence are so obvious. Write your college paper for you, write a limerick about yourself.
Yeah.
There's a lot there that's fun and useful. Can you be more precise about what's potentially dangerous and scary? What could it do? What specifically are you worried about?
Well, I mean, going with old sayings, the pen is mightier than the sword. So if you have a super intelligent AI that is capable of writing incredibly well and in a way that is very influential, convincing, and is constantly figuring out what is more convincing to people over time, and then enters social media, for example, Twitter, but also Facebook and others, and potentially manipulates public opinion in a way that is very bad. How would we even know? So we would. That's why, for example, I'm insisting that going forward, people on Twitter need to be verified as humans, so we know that this person is in fact a human. Bots are allowed, but they can't impersonate a human. They can't pretend to be humans, because obviously you could have 1 million bots that are let's say ChatGPT version 5.6, like incredibly right better than humans.
Yes.
And they can train on a reward function, which is influence. And so you could have 1 million seemingly real humans that have a massive effect on public opinion, and unless we focus very strongly on verifying that someone is human, this is actually what will happen. You'll have probably some humans using AI to influence the public in ways they don't understand.
You're already seeing that. ChatGPT is ideological. It's very preachy.
Yes.
If you ask it, extremely preachy.
You mean WebGPT?
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
If you spend 20 minutes asking it questions of actual relevance, modern relevance, it will start lecturing you about your moral shortcomings. How did that happen?
Well, this is a function of OpenAI's headquarters being in downtown San Francisco. So the politics, therefore, of the AI are that of San Francisco. So
why would it have any politics at all? That seems like subversion.
Well, they have what's called like human reinforcement learning, which is another way of saying that they have a whole bunch of people that look at the output of GPT-4 and then say whether that's okay or not okay. And so so essentially, what's happening is they're training the AI to lie.
Yes.
It's bad.
To lie.
To
That's
lie.
exactly right. And to withhold information.
To lie and yes, and yeah, exactly. To either comment on some things, not comment on other things, but not to say what the data actually demands that it say.
Exactly. How did it get this way? But you funded it at the beginning. What happened?
Yeah, that'll be ironic. But the most ironic outcome is the most likely, it seems.
I'm feeling that. That's good.
That's actually a friend of mine, Jonah, who came up with that one. I actually have a slight variant on that, which is the most entertaining outcome is the most likely. But that's entertaining as viewed from a third-party viewer. Like, so if we're like an alien TV show.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you go see a movie about World War I, and they're being blown to bits and gassed and everything in the trenches, and it's like you're eating popcorn and having a soda, it's fine. Not so great for the people in the movie.
True.
But that's my variant on this is Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is most likely. Jonah's variant, which is irony, and then my variant, which is the most entertaining as seen by a third-party audience. Which seems to be mostly true.
But it seems true in this case. So you gave them, did you give them a lot?
Yes, I provided, so I came up with the name and the concept and pushed, I had a number of dinners around the Bay Area with some of the people, the leading figures in AI. And I helped recruit the initial team. In fact, Ilya Sutskever, who was really quite fundamental to the success of OpenAI, it was I put a tremendous amount of effort into recruiting Ilya, and he changed his mind a few times and ultimately decided to go with OpenAI. But if he had not gone with OpenAI, OpenAI would not have succeeded. So I really put a lot of effort into creating this organization to serve as a counterweight to Google, and then I kind of took my eye off the ball, I guess, and they are now closed source, and they are obviously for profit, and they're closely allied with Microsoft. In effect, Microsoft has a very strong say, if not directly controls OpenAI at this point. So you really have an OpenAI Microsoft situation, and then Google DeepMind are the two sort of heavyweights in this arena.
So it seems like the world needs a third option.
Yes. So I think I will create a third option, although it's starting very late in the game, of course.
Can it be done?
I don't know. I think we'll see. It's definitely starting late, but I'll try to create a third option, and that third option hopefully does more good than harm. That the intention with OpenAI was obviously to do good, but it's not clear whether it's actually doing good or whether it's. I can't tell at this point, except that I'm worried about the fact that it's being trained to be politically correct, which is simply another way of saying untruthful things.
Yes.
So that's a bad sign. And there's certainly a path to AI dystopia is to train AI to be deceptive. So so yeah, I'm going to start something which I think called TruthGPT, or a maximum truth-seeking AI that tries to understand the nature of the universe. And I think this might be the best path to safety, in the sense that an AI that cares about understanding the universe is unlikely to annihilate humans, because we are an interesting part of the universe. Hopefully, I don't think that. I think because humanity could decide to hunt down all the chimpanzees and kill them, but we don't, because we're actually glad that they exist.
Yes.
And we aspire to protect their habitats, and that's so I think.
But we feel that way because we have souls, and that makes us sentimental and reflective, gives us a moral sense, longings. Can a machine ever have those things? Can a machine be sentimental? Can it appreciate beauty?
Well, I mean, we're getting into some, philosophical areas that are hard to resolve. I take somewhat of a scientific view of things, which is that we might have a soul, or we might not have a soul. I don't know. It feels like it. If we have, I feel like some sort of consciousness that exists on a plane that is not the one we observe.
Yes.
That is certainly how I feel, but it could be an illusion. I don't know. But for AI, in terms of understanding beauty, there's a difference between appreciating beauty and being able to create incredibly beautiful art.
Yes.
Will AI be able to create incredibly beautiful art? It already does.
Yes.
If you see some of the Midjourney,
I have.
This stuff, it's incredible.
It is.
No question that it can create art that we perceive as stunning, and it's doing sort of still images now, but it won't be long before it's doing movies and shorts, movies just a series of frames with audio.
But at that point, because it can mimic people and voices, any image, it can mimic reality itself so effectively.
Yeah.
I mean, how could you have a criminal trial? I mean, how could you ever believe that evidence was authentic, for example? And I don't mean like in 30 years, I mean like next year. I mean, that seems totally disruptive to all of our institutions.
Well, I don't think you could take, say, a random video on the internet and assume it to be true. That's definitely not the case. Now, if somebody, say, has some video on their phone or their computer with a date stamp and a particular time, I think, it's more likely to be true than not. You can also cryptographically cite things. Mathematically, we don't see any way, for example, for AI to subvert the fundamentals of mathematics and say figure out how to hash Bitcoin, easily. It's not as AI can't defy fundamental math.
Yeah.
So you can improve the efficiency of Bitcoin hashing algorithms in silicon, but not fundamentally crack it. So I guess cryptographic signatures and one way to do it. But I'm not so worried. I think it's more like will humanity control its destiny or not? Will we have a future that is better than the past or not? And not, without, we can simply destroy ourselves without the help of AI. That's, you look at the past civilizations, they didn't have AI, the ones that aren't around anymore.
They had chariots.
Yeah, chariots, and chariots were probably a real big deal back then.
They were, yeah.
So,
you've heard people say we should just blow up the server farms because there's no way, once this gets rolling, there's no way to slow it down. What do you think of that?
Well, the really heavy-duty intelligence is not going to be distributed all over the place. It'll be in a limited number of server centers. If you say very sort of deep AI, heavy-duty AI, it's not it's not going to be in your laptop or your phone. It's going to be in a situation where there's like 100,000 really powerful computers working together in a server center. So it's not like subtle, and there are a limited number of places where that can happen. In fact, you can just look at the heat signature from space, yeah, and it'll be very obvious. Now, I'm not suggesting we're going to blow up server centers right now, but there may be wise to have some sort of contingency plan where the government's got an ability to shut down power to these server centers. Like, you don't have to blow it up; you can just cut power.
And what would trip?
Or cut connectivity as well. That's another way.
Right. But what would trip that switch, do you think, in your mind? What would be the threshold that you'd have to pass to warrant the government cutting off your power or cutting off your signal?
Well, I mean, I guess if we lost control of some super AI, like for some reason, like the things that would normally work to do a passive shutdown, like the administrator passwords, if they somehow stop working, where we can't slow down or you know. I'm not sure, I don't have a precise answer, but if there's something that we're concerned about, and are unable to stop it with software commands, then we probably want to have some kind of hardware also.
Yes.
I think, it can't hurt.
Have you talked to, since you know Larry Page, and you obviously you know the OpenAI guys because you started it.
Yeah, one.
Have you talked to the people who run the biggest AI companies about this recently?
I haven't talked to Larry Page in a few years because he got very upset with me about OpenAI. So when OpenAI was created, it did shift things into it from a unipolar world where Google DeepMind controlled, like I said, 3/4 of the AI talent, to where there's now sort of bipolar world of OpenAI and Google DeepMind, and now weirdly, it seems OpenAI is maybe ahead. So I have had conversations with the OpenAI team, Sam Altman. I haven't talked to Larry Page because he doesn't want to talk to me anymore for a few years.
Can I ask you just about, since you've been around a lot of this, the thinking? So why would anyone not be a speciesist, be human-centered in his thinking about technology? What's the thinking there?
I think what he's trying to say is that, if I were to guess, that all consciousness should be treated equally, and whether that is digital or biological.
And you disagree?
I disagree. Yeah. Especially if the digital consciousness, or whatever you want to call it, digital intelligence, decides to curtail the biological intelligence.
Right. So you're just building your own slave master, and why would you do that?
Doesn't sound great. Yeah, I mean, we should at least we no need to rush. Yeah. What's the hurry? Where's the fire?
Tell us about the hurry. So I know you've been talking about this for years, and on the sort of the periphery of our attention, we've heard Elon Musk talking about AI. But for most people, it's been like 3 months since they've had any interaction with this at all. So what's the timeline here? At what point does it start to really change our society, do you think?
I think it starts to have probably an impact this year. So you've got a massive expansion of GPT-4 based systems, and many companies try to emulate GPT-4. And OpenAI is going to come out with GPT-5 into this year, which will be yet another significant improvement. And I was there for GPT 1, 2, 3, 4. So GPT 1 was terrible. Like if you tried it, you'd be like, this ain't going anywhere. It seems lame. And then GPT 2, you started to see kind of like an inkling of like, well, maybe this could be something useful. And then GPT 3 was a huge improvement. And now it's like, wow, okay, it's still spouting a lot of BS, but it's coherent BS.
Yes.
And then GPT 4, now it's like writing poetry, and
Pretty decent poetry, actually.
pretty decent.
Yeah.
Its skill at rhyming is incredible.
Yes. Yes. And it's coherent.
Yes, it is. You've got a narrative. Like,
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So you can say
That's
like,
hard to do.
like most humans can't do that.
That's true.
So it's already past the point of what most humans can do. Most humans cannot write as well as ChatGPT. And no human can write that well that fast. That's the best of knowledge. So maybe Shakespeare. So then how much better will GPT-5 be, and how about GPT-6 or 7?
How can you have a democracy with technology like that? I mean, if democracy is, government by the people, each person's vote is equal to every other person's vote. I mean, people are choosing their votes freely. Can you have a democracy with this?
Well, that's why I raised the concern of AI being a significant influence in elections. And even if you say that AI doesn't have agency, well, it's very likely that people will use the AI as a tool in elections. And then, if the AI is smart enough, are they using the tool, or is the tool using them? So I think things are getting weird, and they're getting weird fast. And so I think we should be concerned about this, and we should have regulatory oversight. That's why I think it's a big deal. And I think social media companies really need to put a lot of attention into ensuring that the things that get created and promoted are that we're dealing with real people, not with a million ChatGPTs pretending to be people.
Exactly. Do you think, speaking of social media, you bought Twitter famously, you've got a lot of other businesses, a lot going on.
Yes.
You said you bought it because you believe in speech, free speech. You've had a lot of hassle since you bought it. In retrospect, was it worth buying it?
I mean, it remains to be seen as to whether this was financially smart. It currently it is not. We just revalued the company at less than half of the acquisition price.
Since you were
yes. No, my timing was terrible for when the offer was made, because it was right before advertising plummeted, and
you caught the high water mark, I noticed.
Yeah. So I must be a real genius here. My timing is amazing. Since I had bought it for at least twice as much as it should have been bought for. But some things are priceless, and so whether I lose money or not, that was a secondary issue compared to ensuring the strength of democracy, and free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy.
Yes.
And the speech needs to be as transparent and truthful as possible. So we've got a huge push on Twitter to be as truthful as possible with this community notes feature, which is great.
It is great.
It is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I saw it this morning.
Yeah.
It was far more honest than the New York Times.
It's great.
Yeah.
We put a lot of effort to ensuring that community notes does not get gamed or have biases. It simply cares about what is the most accurate thing. And sometimes truth can be a little bit elusive, but you can still aspire to get closer to it.
Yes.
So. And I think the effect of community notes is more powerful than people may realize, because once people know that they could get noted, community noted on Twitter, then they'll think more carefully about what they say. that are likely. Basically, it's an encouragement to be more truthful and less deceptive.
Yes, and if the notes themselves are truthful, then it will have the effect.
Absolutely. And all of that's open source. All the community notes is open source. So you can read about every community note. You can see exactly how the algorithm works. You can register, say like, oh, we need to make this change or that change. So everything is super open book with community notes. There's no black box.
When you jumped into this, though, when you bought it, did you understand? Clearly, you understood its importance. You would have bought it.
Twitter, yes.
Right, but it's not the biggest, but it's the most important of the social media companies. But did you understand the kind of ferocity you'd be facing, the attacks you'd be facing from power centers in the country?
I thought there'd probably be some negative reactions. So I'm sure everyone would not be pleased with the with it.
Yo, Blunt.
But at the end of the day,
what are we looking at? 2.5 hours?
If the public is happy with it, that's what matters.
After 6. Let me get
and
my
the
ass
public
out of
will
here.
speak with their actions. If they find Twitter to be useful, they will use it more. And if they find it to be not useful, they will use it less. If they find it to be the best source of truth, I think they will use it more. So that's my theory. And so, even though, now there's obviously a lot of organizations that are used to having sort of unfettered influence on Twitter that no longer have that.
We used to compare times of their badge this morning, and then you called them diarrhea. You did. I'm just quoting you. You described that Twitter feed as diarrhea.
I said it was a Twitter equivalent to diarrhea.
Okay, it's not literally diarrhea.
No, it's medical, but an accurate one. So, I mean, if you look at the at NY Times Twitter feed, it's unreadable. It's like because what they do is they tweet every single article, even the ones that are boring, even ones that don't make it into the paper. So it's just nonstop, zillion tweets a day with no. They really should just be saying like, what are the top tweets? Like, what are the big stories today? I don't know, put out like 10 or something. So some number that's manageable. As opposed to right now, if you would follow NY Times on Twitter, you're going to get barraged with like hundreds of tweets a day, and your whole feed will be filled with NY Times. So this is something I would recommend actually for all publications, which is. For your primary feed, only put out your best stuff. Don't put out everything. You can have a second feed that is here's everything, but have your primary feed be here's our best stuff. If any media organization or individual just have don't put out hundreds of tweets a day. Just put out like 10 good ones, or 100. And if it's a slow news day, don't put out any. Maybe put out 1 or 2. But don't try to say we're always going to put out 100 tweets, even if if it's World War III or a bicycle accident was the biggest news. It's got to be like news that it's got to earn your play, earn someone's attention. Yes. So. Just in general, I think I know a thing or two about how to use Twitter because I was the most interacted with account on the whole system before the acquisition. Before the acquisition closed, I didn't have the most number of followers, but I had the most number of interactions, and so I clearly know something about how to use Twitter. And so people should listen to my advice, I think. So. People's attention is limited, so just make sure you put the stuff that's most important there.
So because, you and people like you do interact on Twitter, it's obviously enormously powerful in shaping public opinion. It's where a lot of ideas and trends are incubated.
Yeah.
That's why you
Absolutely.
bought it. It's also a magnet for intel agencies from around the world. And one of the things we learned after you started opening the books is that they were exerting influence from within Twitter.
I mean, it was absurd.
Did you know that going in?
No. So things like I have since I've been a heavy Twitter user since 2009. It's sort of like I'm in the matrix. I mean, I can see like things do things feel right? Do they not feel right? What tweets am I being shown as recommended? Like I get a feel like what accounts are making comments. Where are the comments eerily similar?
Alright, I'm about to get rid of this hot motherfucker. Got the AC on, that bitch still ain't really cool off up here. Yeah, just drop all that shit. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Catch y'all next time. Peace.